We're already here now.
Okay.
We're already doing it.
Welcome to the North South Podcast, Connor's birthday edition.
Yeah.
Big
birthday.
2-4. Yeah, no, thank you.
Fucking 2-4. Should have gotten you a 2-4.
Oh, shit.
I really shit the bed this year. I'm sorry, man.
She didn't shit the bed. There's a couple mistakes in terms of shoe size with gifts, but the shoes are still awesome. I like the look of them.
The concept. Conceptually, it's a good gift.
They were perfect shoes for, what they needed to be, but
Just half the size too small.
half the size too small. I'm an 11 and a half, big old feet. And she got me an 11.
Are you bragging about that? You're trying to hint to something?
Yeah,
You know, big old feet, so you know.
Not
big old feet.
Not your average everyday feet. A little bit bigger than that. Big old feet.
But, yeah.
Still a good day. Fuck no, I enjoyed my day. We slept in. I took the whole day off just because, when you run your own business, you can kind of do that shit. So.
You can, and then you can also just not take a day off, which is kind of an issue. Sometimes.
Yeah, so Yazzy convinced me to at least take the morning off, and then it ended up being the whole day. But fuck it, we're here.
You still did a little work. You still did some organizing and shit.
Yeah. No, I just figured out my next week, but that shit's boring. We don't need to fucking talk about that. But yeah, it's crazy. Coming into 24, not for any specific reason, just because, Yazzy just had her birthday last week, which is, 2 weeks ago? No, 2 weeks ago.
Something like 10 days, we're 10 days apart?
10 days apart, yeah, 10 days. A year and 10 days older than me. It's old bat. It's old sack of shit. Sloppy-titted animal.
Yo.
But, no, we had a lot of fun with that. We were telling you guys we went to Kitchener and shit, and, for my birthday, obviously, I'm super chill. I don't need to do fucking anything. I was just
it was also
just
nice
being
that it
with
was
her
the
and-
weekend, right?
Yeah. No, without a doubt. But, it's just, it's sobering coming into this birthday because 1 year, basically to the day, March 12th of last year, was when they determined
it was
the
midnight
pandemic.
that it was gonna be shut down.
Yeah.
And just reliving that is so crazy to think that whole day I fucking killed it. At least your last birthday I went the mile.
No,
it's
that
just
was
I told them to be free the whole day,
Yeah.
and then I had all these appointments and shit lined up, and just bah.
Probably one of the best birthdays I ever had, honestly. Yeah.
It was fun.
It was seriously so much fun, and just little surprises here and there, and just little things she did for me that just totally made the day more perfect
Indian
than anything.
food, mushrooms.
Yeah.
Shrooms.
Yeah, well, let's walk them through the day. But,
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
I'm
so
getting into myself here.
Yazzy organized this badass day. Where did it start? So we woke up. You got me a badass meal. You got me my favorite baked goods, the vegan spot in town. So I got some, awesome double chocolate muffins. Always a muffin.
Bunners.
You're not hitting a muffin, then what are you doing? What are you doing?
Muffins are good.
You're not having muffins?
We haven't had muffins in forever.
Muffins as a breakfast baked good? That's cake. That's literal cake.
It's just it's just the opportunity to eat cake.
Yeah,
Or
it's just
cupcakes.
cake. That's all it is. It's fucking delicious. But fucking a little bit of that, and then I don't even remember what you got me in terms of gifts. That shit's always
The whole day was
to
just
experience.
I think what we always like doing is instead of getting gifts, it's more about the experience.
Always about the experience, just spending the best time possible together.
Now I can't remember everything, but I know I had notes and whatever at different parts of the day and little things that went in correlation with that. I dropped you off. I got you in an Uber and dropped you off at the H2O float center.
That's a fucking interesting experience. Honestly, doing the float, if I was going to rate the float in terms of, I don't know, what do you call it, medical, what the fucking, not medical, but just body goodness, body wellness,
Health and wellness.
Health and wellness experiences to pay money for. I would put that,
I don't know.
I don't know if it's for me because mentally I think it's for people who need a real mental break. But I'm very consistent and realistic in life, so I don't need mental gymnastics to get through the day. Feel crazy stress or anything like that.
The only reason I
we
did
have an arrival. Please appreciate the fact that Juan is down to party today.
Juan is super down to party today. He took his nap early.
Yeah.
Because he knew that we were going to be up till...
He's eyeing that drink.
Usually. The usual time, probably.
He is eyeing that drink. But, yeah, in terms of, like, floating, I don't fucking get floating.
Well, the reason I thought... Well, I listened to that podcast,
I appreciate you did it for me, though.
What the fuck's his name? The guy that has the... it's like, it's not Stop a Bully, because that's someone else, but the bully guy who's got all the health... Jeremy...
Hey!
Anyway,
Drinking my beer down here.
He was talking about a guy or a kid who had like a crazy accident or something where he used to be able to be like a crazy athlete, but then had to like basically relearn how to like walk, talk, and everything again.
A brain injury?
Yeah, it was like a brain injury, and it was he was talking about.
Floating.
No, he was. That was why I did it, or why I got you that. Was he was just talking about how awesome, like those float tanks were, and how much help it's done for this guy.
Yeah.
Like with his tremors and stuff. I can't remember what the.
Again, that guy must have some sort of like psychological issue because I don't know about like the physical benefits of just like basically feeling nothing for about an hour. You trying to drink
I don't know. It
my
sounds
beer?
dope to me. I'm pissed.
She would. I think she would be good
I really
for her.
wanted to.
Not that you have psychological issues, but
well,
maybe more than me.
That's the only I used to love going tanning, but not. And I would always be so embarrassed. I remember one time I went tanning and I would never tell anybody.
Speaking of my birthday 2 years ago.
Yeah, I surprised him and I was so tan. And everyone was like,
pretended like she didn't have a tan.
I also thought it was funny though. I thought that would be a funny prank is to start tanning and then try and play it off as you've not been tanning. Just I've always looked like this. So I thought it would be funny to try and pull it off as if you just didn't remember that I was this tan. Everyone's like, wow, I didn't know Montana was tropical. I'm like, well... What do you mean? I always look like this.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's kind of similar though, because I always the reason I liked tanning was just putting in fucking King Kong the barbecue show, Beach Rock, and just tan, not think about anything. But I don't know. I just can't do that in a float tank.
Well, again, you took me for a pedicure that same day, right?
Yeah.
That was the same day. So after we did the float. Right, we went for a little walk around the damn floor. She picked up a little snack for me. I can't recall what.
Who knows?
It was a falafel or something like that. Oh, on the way over to the floating place, we took an Uber, and she gave me this, it was a little gift or whatever, just to be like, okay, yeah, you're gonna be going to the float tank or something. It's just.
It was swim trunks, right?
Yeah, that's what it was. Swim trunks. Juan, don't. He's eating the fucking cords again. Our apologies. Juan was eating the cords behind the computer.
Juan went rogue.
He went rogue, and we had to kind of deal with that.
We had to remove him from the premises.
He keeps chewing on my digital optical cable. And I'm like, Juan, for the love of God. I don't understand cats sometimes, because you can pick them up, you take them away from it, you give them a bit of a scold, and try to let them know. It's just don't do that. But no matter what, they'll go back to the same spot and almost always do the exact same thing.
Well, Jackson Galaxy says you can't, I don't know, he says you can't punish a cat. They don't get it.
I don't
understand. You can
understand
only give them
that.
positive reinforcement.
It's crazy.
I don't know if that's facts, but that's cat facts, I guess. I don't know.
Regardless, he's starting to get into cords, and that could be an issue pretty quick.
Yeah.
Some cords are expensive. But anyways, so where were we? I had a gift from Yazzy that was
shorts. Well, everything was, and then
the bag that it was in. My point was, it was a little short.
Oh yeah.
The bag it was in was covered in glitter, and I was fiddling around with the bag, and I noticed my body just got covered in glitter. I couldn't believe how much the fucking bag let off, and then I realized that the fucking Uber guy's seat was just covered in glitter. And I'm like, that is a fucking disaster. You're not going to get that out of the seat. Not soon, anyways. I don't know if you guys can hear Juan trying to get through the door here. I feel bad.
He's pretty upset.
But,
he's not crying. He's persistent, though.
Yeah. Wasn't working. But then we went to go get a pedicure and shit, which was a good time.
Yeah, that was fun. That was super fun.
It was a good time, yeah.
I don't know, yeah. It's weird. I can't remember that morning very well, because I don't know. Anyway,
No,
yeah,
it was just
all really
basic. It
fun.
was just hanging out. It was relaxing up until that point, right? But then we got the pedicure, and I got my toes painted and shit.
Honestly,
like a jits
couples,
thing.
Yeah, couple pedicure, do it, man.
If you're not like
so fun.
a bitch about being like, oh, it's not a man thing to do to get a pedicure. It's not fucking about getting your feet cleaned or whatever, right? I could give a shit about that, like my feet are a mess. I really don't care. I walk on them for a living like every other person.
You should want to clean them up, though. Your feet need to be cleaned up.
I'm afraid of getting rid of my calluses. I'm not gonna lie.
Bruh, you got calluses.
I know, but my calluses. My calluses protect my feet because I'm barefoot or bouncing on the balls of my feet at some point in time.
Even more so, why you should be taking care of them.
I don't know.
When I was I went to cosmetology school and we had to do pedicures and all of that, and it was just very much like this is an essential part of your health. And I get it, I don't know, man, because a lot of the people that would come in when I was in hair school were older people, so it'd be a lot of older people that, literally just couldn't cut their toenails or couldn't clean their feet properly or couldn't, and, as
that
gross as that
bad.
sounds, but it's just, if you don't, really pay attention to detail on that, or, really, you know what I mean? It's easy to kind of just not, but...
Yeah, you could probably injure them easily, too.
It's just, you gotta do that.
Yep.
Well, that, and, it's so easy to get, fungus and shit. Not that that's our case, but I don't know where I'm going with this. Take care of your feet, dude. Don't be a nasty ass.
Yep, and then after that,
I'm sorry.
whatever, had a couple drinks, we're chilling, we're relaxing, and then me and Yazzy take a bunch of shrooms, and we're floating.
Dude,
we take it, we get into the Uber because we're going out for Indian food now. We're gonna get some dosa. You don't know what a dosa is?
Dude,
what?
Strap up.
Oh, strap up. Yeah, dosa is it's like a crepe, kinda. It's paper. It's a paper, bread, whatever. I don't know what you'd call it. Like a tortilla, but crunchier.
And airy.
And you like chutney, like a potato chutney or whatever you want, whatever Indian thing that they fill it with. And you take that and you eat it with your hand. You take the crepe, the dosa, and you take a bit of the chutney and you dip it in some coconut shit. Oh my god, we might eat that later.
TBH.
Honestly, so
that was
good.
such a fun restaurant to go to, too. Just in the basement of a church or whatever.
Then I got surprised with my two friends who are both born March 10th and I'm the 11th. And, we had a trifecta birthday, basically quadfecta?
Yeah,
a quadfecta birthday.
We're on quads.
And that was fun, Me and Yazzy on shrooms, just hanging out with two of our best buddies, Nate and Matt. And
oh yeah, I went to the comedy show.
And then to finish it all off, we went to the comedy show. And the comedy show was kind of my favorite part. Because we were both sitting there this is fun, It's it's a quiet night, it's a Wednesday, and we're in there, and the first person goes up to the stage, and it's a lady in a wheelchair.
That was so fun. It was just so fun. I don't know if you guys ever got a chance to go to the Underground, but that was where our first date was now. Actually.
It's closed. It's done.
I know.
It's our first date, and
I'm happy we went to the last show.
Yeah, probably, maybe the last.
Because I could have sworn when everything, I felt your birthday. I for some reason I think there was an announcement saying at midnight, shit's done.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was the.
Well, yeah.
There's
the anticipation of an announcement, anyways. But
yeah.
They didn't fully lock everything down and set all the rules, but it was basically pandemic season.
Yeah.
It has been since.
Just thinking about that is kind of wild too. Just I don't know, when everything was kind of gearing up for shutdown and just the way everyone was kind of acting, everyone was kind of the toilet paper thing, and just acting wild in that regard. And there was a night the weekend before your birthday, it was probably that Friday beforehand. I was working at the corner and we left to go get pizza or something after my shift or whatever, and we it just seems so desolate and weird, and I don't know, there's those two people just making out on a bench, laying down in front of Ed's Big Scoop or whatever the bar. Yep. And just, I don't know, it was so...
Kind of just seemed like everybody was anticipating, a whole bunch of bullshit, which,
they did.
Basically the way it went down, more or less. But yeah, it was I don't know. I remember leaving school a day before that in like almost a panic because or no, a little bit after that. Wait, when did I feel like I was getting sick? I can't remember if it was after they announced it was a pandemic.
Because your birthday was on a Wednesday, and then everything shut down officially on that Friday?
Yes. It was after. I believe it was the day after, actually.
Yeah, I think there were like some restrictions, but like everyone was starting to get scared, and then that Monday after, it was like...
No, because it was because I had that class on Thursday, and we had thing on our thing on Wednesday, so it was the day after. But the day after, I was in school, and it was my longest day. I would have 12 hours of school that day. I would have 4 classes, 3 hours each, all in a row from 8 to 8. And my very last class of the day, where I'm always exhausted, and it was the most exhausting class because it was a leadership class, which was just like imagine just like the quintessential, is that the right word? Like version of like experimental teaching.
Oh, I forgot about that class.
The teacher doesn't teach you. You teach the teacher how to teach you, and we just teach ourselves or whatever. It was like
it wasn't like our sketch for that class.
Yeah, it was fucking silly, man. Oh, the class by the end of it, I did appreciate what it was. I wish we didn't waste 4 weeks trying to figure out what the fuck we were doing in class. But regardless, it was kind of fun. Just to kind of fuck around. But anyways, it was exhausting because you had no idea what to expect. You had no idea how to act. You had no idea really like what the teacher was
even expected of you.
No idea, even in the slightest. I remember in like, they actually used me as a bit of an example for like when the class finally kind of came together, because we had to write a story about when we overcame something, and I wrote about how me and Yazzy overcame her getting deported and us getting married and bringing her back and all that stuff, our little love story. Watch that podcast if you're interested. I think it was like 2 or 3 ago, but whatever. Anyways, and I wrote that story, and then I had to more or less tell this class of 150, 200 people the entire story. I just got called out like, hey Connor, you submitted that. Can you just tell everybody that right now? And I was like, oh shit, yeah, no problem. I felt like, and I always sit in the very front of class too. I always at the very, very front desk. So, because, I hated like looking at other people's computers and shit, so I just sit there. I don't understand sitting in the back or the middle or whatever. You just get distracted. So, whatever. I sat in the very front and I just turned around and told the entire class like everything. But anyways, that class, when we were leaving it right before like the end of the day, the teacher was just like, yeah, everything is going to change forever. Like, guys, this is unprecedented. This is like, because at first I was kind of like, yeah, pandemic, whatever, like I don't fucking know.
What does this even mean?
What does it mean? And then he just went off. He's like, literally everything is about to change, and it's going to be fucked. Like, your lives are going to get fucked up bad. Like, just get ready for it, because the people I'm talking to, it's going to get like really bad, really fast, and everything is going to change right away. And I was just like. And I was feeling sick too right then. And I biked home, and I was like in a panic, and listening to podcasts.
Oh my god, yeah, the rat. I remember going to the grocery store. Yeah, you started feeling sick, and you're in a panic mode, and we were going up to Walmart to get like supplies.
Yeah.
And you're like wearing all this weird shit on your head because we didn't have masks then.
Yeah,
that's weird to think about.
Cover
a time
up a
before.
Little bit.
The like over the ear masks.
Yeah, I was. Well, I remember the first time when I had to throw one of those on. I was in the whatever. They started like asking people to wear them, but it wasn't a requirement. I was like, fuck that, like what does it really mean to wear a mask? I didn't fucking look into it. I don't fucking know. Who really knew anything, right? About wearing masks unless you're a surgeon.
Yeah, it's weird to think like how.
But I was in a Tech City, like buying a cord or something like that, and the guy in there started yelling at me. He's like, how you not wear a mask? Do you not care about people? You not care about others in here? And I was like, fuck, man. I'm like, I don't know. I believe I do, but... And he's like, give everybody a mask who don't have a mask. And, like, the manager was yelling at, like, all the people working there, and, like, I was like, fuck, man, I can't cover my face. He's like, you don't need to cover your face, just wear a mask. And I'm like, but you're yelling at me. And I went like this, and he's like, don't do that. And I'm like, you know, he's like, you don't need to do that, it's okay. I'm like, fuck, I don't know.
I don't
Making
know.
this up as we go here.
I definitely, yeah, as we go. Yeah, I definitely remember just starting to wear one just because you could tell, like, the people that were really I don't know. That's where mine definitely stemmed from, was just like, okay, everybody around me is really scared. I guess I'll do this to make them feel more okay. Like the old people that I would see at Shoppers or whatever.
Yeah, like...
Because, like,
I
before
would
that,
have, like, a sense of guilt being around them, not wearing it. But, yeah. I don't know.
Everyone I used to see that was like, I'm in a gym, so no one cares here. I'm at a comedy club, no one really cares here. And then, like, it was mainly just, those, like, little brief trips. It's like I'm here every day. I'm at Shoppers every day, so I might as well.
Yeah. No, it's fair. It was super frustrating at first. I only had one mask, and it was, like, an old disposable one. And, like, the thing ripped off, the emergency mask. And I wore it for a bunch of stuff. It was, like, covered in, like, food and grease and sweat. And it was taped together. And
Christ.
It was disgusting.
Hey, guys, did you know we're disgusting human beings?
I would only wear it. It was called my emergency mask. I wore it when I needed to wear it. What did you do when you needed to wear it? You wore it and you fucking taped
because I was like, this is the last time.
She still wore it.
Listen, though.
When it was at its grossest point.
The only reason I wore it was because I showed up to work and didn't have one. And there was no other disposable masks there. And I had no other choice. So I took that mask. And it was before the gym opened. And I took a paper towel, or like 2 paper towels, and cut it so that it fit the part that touched my face. And then I taped that to the mask. So, I don't think...
How fucking stupid this shit is. She worked with nobody. You know,
yeah,
nobody
the only reason I did it was just I don't want to get them in trouble, so I won't even go into there. But there was a reason I did it.
Yeah, I don't know. Pretty wild thinking about last year, and, you know, just like literally remembering those days so well because it was such a memorable birthday. And then just knowing, like, the next day was like, yo, it's
pandemic, that group hug, just like, hell yeah, guys, we're gonna get through this. We're all gonna die, as a joke, you know?
Yeah. And then, bam, shut it all down. But fuck, we're here now, and, you know, we're kind of in a better situation than we ever were.
In a way.
Making okay money and, you know, living our best lives, so.
And I think a lot of the, like, stuff we did get to do or have been able to do wouldn't have come out the same. I mean, at least, you know, I don't know.
When we ran the comedy shows and stuff, probably would have never did that.
Yeah.
You know? Would have just coasted on other people doing it. Would have never felt like we needed to do that, or, like,
I probably wouldn't have ever felt the urgency to even try to do stand-up. It would always be that thing where it's like, I really want to do this. Someday it'll happen. But
hopefully, you know, for you guys too, this was a little bit of a, you know, a kick in the butt to, like, do stuff or just, you know, you never know what you have until it's gone a lot of the times, and that was a big thing about this whole.
Yeah, even if it wasn't a kick in the butt, it's just like, even if you lost some shit, maybe some of it was for the better.
Yeah.
Put you in a different direction, I guess. I don't know.
Like, not to say the pandemic's more positive than it is negative. So obviously it's more negative than it is positive, but there is a few things, right? We're living pretty well right now, and you know, that's my private training shot through the roof because people didn't have gyms to go to anymore. So that actually really helped my private training business. It was like a unintended consequence, but regardless, it was, you know, to my benefit, and, you know, I appreciate that so much that people would spend their hard-earned money on you know, personal training with me because they can't get it. Well, you know, they never had a reason to try to experience it. They would have, like, other avenues to do their fitness training.
Well, that, and I think like even when we were working with the gym and, like, doing, like, the outdoor stuff, and I don't know, I felt like that was the strongest the community ever really was even though, like, it was so distant and, like, weird, but at the same time, like, you know, I feel like that was because it was everyone's only real social interaction, or, you know what I mean? So it's kind of interesting how it's I don't know, relationships and just the way you appreciate people, I guess, is different.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I still miss, like walking into a room and seeing people that you don't really know, but just like acknowledging them, and it's almost like you have a chance to get to know that person, which is like something that even just in that, like maybe you don't do it today, maybe you don't do it tomorrow, but then there's a chance like you do like bump into them in a role and you're like, yo, let's roll, and oh fucking yeah, that's cool. someone new, it's someone new in your life. It's hard to meet new people right now. Like you love the people that you have right now, but there's something fun and exciting about like meeting new people. We have some new friends.
Well, we were just talking about this in the car earlier, just like
the car.
The car. In the vehicle that we have.
Just get my accent. Too much. The car.
Okay.
Sorry.
About just like wanting to missing that opportunity to meet new people, and I don't know. It is hard in that regard. Yeah. But then we also were talking about the benefits of like innovating the way you train. So
yeah, well, like we've talked about that before. It's like such a huge change in thinking about the way that we're actually learning. Like, what is really the best way to learn? Is this group setting where it's like kind of just not vague in terms of like what you're actually learning, but it is vague when you get the information and then you try to apply it, because maybe the coach comes over to you once or twice, maybe the teacher asks you if you actually get what's going on once or twice, but most of the time like it's basically guessing. You watch it happen. You could ask questions. Not a lot of people ask questions, but even when you ask questions, they watch you do it once or twice, and they can't really give you their full energy. I know from like teaching people personally, it's so different actually learning one-on-one and having someone solely focus on you for, let's say, a given hour, given even 30 minutes, even 20 minutes. You can learn so much more. For every new person added, there's like it's like a point of diminishing returns for the every person in the group. 4 people in a group, that's 25% of what you could get. 1 person in a group, you get 100%, obviously.
No, for sure. Well, and like going back to like just what we have been doing and the training we've been doing with Jeff, who's a purple belt that we've been working with, who's like a jits savant. He's been obsessed with the Danaher stuff.
Yeah.
And
he fucking gets it. Raining hard.
Damn.
Looks aggressive out there.
Yeah, it looked like a bucket just sprayed on our window. But no, just the way like the thing I really appreciate with him, and it's really made me compare other classes and other ways that I've gone about, or just the way the information has been presented to me, is like I like to refer to those sessions more as like a jits theory class. You know what I mean? Because you would always you could go to a jiu-jitsu class, right? Mm-hmm. And you're going to learn usually a submission or a sweep or, like, you know what I mean? But rarely do you learn just a pathway to something or just a position and only focus on the nuances of that position and then build
the ins,
up.
The outs, the submissions, the escapes, every little pathway that could happen from that position, and what we're actually thinking about. Okay, if that guy, let's say I'm holding this guy in half guard and he moves a little bit this way, how do I move him back? If he moves a little bit this way, how do I move him back? It's not like you just get like, okay, go into half guard, do your sweep, go into side control, and that's it. It's like you really understand what you're trying to get out of. Like, how do you play the game? How do you employ the strategy of being in this position? It's really the strategy. What you're saying.
Well, it's just like today even, and the thing with him is just like, he'll go off and you think you're just like, ba, 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 and you're just like,
you're getting like
so much information. But then when he like was showing that position, or today when he was showing, it was from Deep Half, and then he showed us. He was like, or you could do if they do this thing, you could do this. And then he went right into the sequence that we did last week, or the last time we saw him. And I was just like, that makes sense to me.
It fucking made my brain explode too. And I'm like, whoa, it connects.
It doesn't seem like it. It almost just seems like, okay, I don't really understand why we're spending 20 minutes talking about just being here.
It's so funny because like this Jeff goes off. He fucking goes off. And like you literally get lost in whatever he's talking about. For like, you know, and he'll talk for like, it seems like sometimes I think the max probably we've sat and listened to him probably like 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, like if instruction in jiu-jitsu, that's a long time of just sitting there and just listening. Especially about one position, about like, okay, so you go to deep half and you go this way. You go to deep half, you go this way. You go deep half, you can do this submission. You go deep half, you go this submission. You go deep half, they do this, then you can do this. They do this, you can do this. And it was like this, and then it's all leading up to, okay, but we're only doing this thing today. And I was like, oh, okay, you know.
Yeah, we spent so much time listening. But then like, and I
fucking did that thing perfectly.
Watching so hard, and I was trying so hard to just see everything he was doing, and I heard one thing, and then and it was just like I still missed a shit ton until like you put me in it, and I was just like, oh, I feel a difference here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just thinking about utilizing every part of your body to the fullest extent, you know, and I think that's the thing. It's just, again, like, you know, not hanging out with your hands down here and not, you know, making sure one leg's doing one thing, the other leg's doing one thing, your feet are active, like literally just constantly being engaged in every way.
You know, like our jits rolls from Yazzy's like fucking excelled from learning this way.
Yeah.
Right? We've talked about it before. Yazzy has ADD, and you know the group setting. These
it's
large
so
groups,
hard
so
to
hard.
fucking understand, and then it's just like the 2
seconds. And then
seconds.
I end up teaching you everything, anyways, right?
Yeah. But the thing is, like, yeah, and it's just like, even though you owe it, like, even with Jeff, like, you know, you sometimes have to recap some stuff. There's stuff that visually I saw that I'm retaining.
You're soaking in, like, just the ideas, right? We're talking about theory here, and you're understanding, like, the nuances of parts of the position,
the flows. It makes so much more sense.
Totally.
But,
and
like,
you're moving a lot better. Like, before, you know, Yazzie would almost like rarely sub me, you know, because I don't just give stuff to her, right? I've been doing this a little bit longer than her, so you know it's to be expected.
Quite a bit.
But you know, but now it's like, you know, I'll like, let's say for every 2 rolls, I'll sub her once a roll, and she'll sub me every other roll or something like that.
That's and like honestly, I was at the point before pandemic where it was like in my head, you know. And I feel like, I don't know, it's almost embarrassing to like admit, but it's just like, for me, I always felt like, and it's probably just because like when I would roll, I would just think about moving around. Like I know all this shit in my head, but there's no pathway to get there.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, I know all these subs, and I've worked the mechanics of this sub, but only from this situation.
Yeah.
But I would never really understand fully how to actually get there, control someone, and do that thing.
No.
So it always just turned into me like moving around.
But that's the way you've learned it, right?
Yeah.
That's the way you've learned in this group setting, where it's like, here, this is the submission of the day, this is the pass of the day. Go for it, right? There's no real fluidity, right? When we trained at Primal and like all this shit that happened there, like the jiu-jitsu, in general, jiu-jitsu is usually taught in this way.
Yeah. And
it's really hard to retain, right? I imagine maybe once a week out of like the 6 or 7 classes I would go to, you know, in my 2-a-days, I would maybe soak in one thing that I think I can do live. Because it's too much, and there's no build, there's no crescendo.
Well, again, like what we're talking about, we're not talking, it's not a position, you know what I mean? And from like the way Jeff's teaching us, and it's just like you're spending all this time perfecting this and controlling this, then you see the subs. You know what I mean?
But it's odd because it's like at the same time,
subs.
You're not really perfecting it. You're just getting a better like feel for it. You know, like you're getting timing for and a better understanding of just like what your body in general needs to do when their body in general is doing a movement.
Yeah.
You know, which is like more interesting than just thinking, okay, he's trying to go to side control, so I go to this escape from side control. It's like less specific, but at the same time, it almost feels like more accurate. I don't know how to
Yeah,
say
well,
it,
no,
you know?
it's just, and I
It's more
don't get
realistic.
nearly as tired in my roles now
Yeah.
because it's just like I don't need to be doing.
When you
all
would
this
get to
shit.
you would get to a control position and you'd be like,
Yeah,
you would
just
like
trying to
hold
hold-
on to it for dear life. But now it seems like, you know, you have like paths. It's like I go left or I go right, whatever, you know.
I'm just just body
It's cool.
awareness and
Yeah.
I don't know.
Funny.
Something's definitely clicked, and I think part of it,
Very
yeah,
cool.
like doing it, but also just like this way of teaching has gotten so much better for me. Because like I would feel good with shit like if you and I would do like our solo stuff, or even at
Mhm.
Grandhouse when you'd have like that open mat time and you kind of work little things. Like I would get that, but anything I've learned in a class, it's just like, I get it, but do I
Yeah.
really do it? No.
Yeah, it's true. It's totally true, right? And you know what the best learning that we ever had at the Grindhouse, like at really anywhere, was that open time, that time when you're working with somebody new and they just show you something and they're like, or they do something to you and they're like, yo, this is like what I've learned and blah blah blah, and then you something like, oh my god, you know, I think I could do that.
This.
You
and
know?
then someone over here is like, oh, let me show you something to add to
Yeah,
this.
yeah, and it's like really that community level, that open mat, you know, style of martial arts learning, which doesn't exactly exist too much in striking. There's a little bit more egos in striking, I think, but
Well, that and I think
with jiu-jitsu, you know, when you can have like open dialogue and conversation about whatever the fuck's happening, suddenly you catch like this like a real rhythm for like understanding like new positions. Like I have so many weird submissions that people just did to me one time and I'm like, that just makes sense to me. I feel like I can just do that. Now I have like a bicep slicer from whenever somebody passes my guard. And I always do it to everybody once and then they get fucking, they're like, what the fuck is that? And I'm like, it's easy. You know, and I always show them it, you know.
Yeah.
It's
for sure.
funny
And then again,
sport.
going back to what we were talking about, just like missing that chance of getting to know someone, you know?
Originals.
Oh, she's bad.
It's my birthday. It's my
But yeah, fuck. Man,
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun without a doubt. And you know what? Like, again, you know, would never have known without the pandemic that really learning martial arts. It's funny because I was doing privates before this, but honestly, personal training is without a doubt the best way you can learn.
Yeah.
And only from somebody who is truly passionate about it. Because you work with coaches who don't have like their all in it, and you can tell that maybe it's sometimes a job, maybe it's sometimes
Well,
like
I think
there's
what we're-
other stuff on their mind, and you know they don't appreciate you know every like the dollar that you're putting into it. Because I've seen lots of personal trainers kind of work that way, but if you find the right one who's like legitimately so passionate about just wanting to make sure you understand this shit, like Jeff. Like when you do something right in front of Jeff,
Dude.
he's got a fucking smile on his
eyes,
face.
the way his eyes
He just-
like bulge, and he's just like,
He
that was
literally,
beautiful. That's exactly what I wanted.
he's like, I can't believe like, you're. And you're like, he can't even speak. It's like it makes you feel really good, and at
And
the same time,
never felt good at
No.
my other gym.
honestly, Jeff's a fucking good guy.
Yeah.
Cheers to Jeff.
Cheers to Jeff. Cheers to Jeff.
If you're in Toronto, shout out to Jeff. He just started doing personal training. It's new for him, but like
But
he's,
again,
he's a natural.
What we're talking about too is just there's a difference between people that are passionate about jiu-jitsu, people that are passionate about MMA, people that are passionate about lifting, but they're not passionate about teaching.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. And it's just like, you know, you can love those things, but it doesn't necessarily make you an awesome trainer. Sure, you're knowledgeable, but it's just like
Yeah.
you really have to care and you really have to be patient. And like I've even found that when I'm doing the classes the workout classes, and in those moments where I'm training someone,
Yep.
that like, you know, it takes more time to perfect what they're doing or to explain it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh shit, okay.
Teaching is a skill. It's
have
not just
to-
knowing it.
Yeah.
You know, knowing it is not enough. Teaching is a skill. And honestly, I can tout myself off as a pretty good personal trainer just by virtue. It has nothing to do with like the skills I actually know. But I tell you what, when I see somebody get it, just like Jeff, it fucking gets me so pumped. When I see someone flow, and I just get so excited, I'm like, you get it, you get it.
Oh, when you come home and you're just like, you'll never guess what Jamil did today.
When Jamil fucking gets it, I'm like, yeah. Because Jamil's one of those guys that never did any like sports in his life, and now the guy, like, he can fucking counter, he can move, he's a little stiff, he doesn't have like the fluidity.
Well, when he first started, you'd just be like, man, I don't know how to teach this guy.
It was
so hard.
It's so cool, I love it.
Yeah, fuck man. It is cool.
And one of my new favorite sayings is just like, when you're looking for actual coaching, when you're looking to learn from somebody, let's think of it from the perspective of training a dog. Is the best dog trainer in the world a dog? Right?
That's nice.
Is the best dog trainer in the world a dog? Probably the best leader of dogs is a dog, right? But to teach a dog how to jump, to teach a dog to sit, to stay, to whatever, right? It's not a dog. It's a human man. It's Cesar Millan.
It's Cesar Millan who only cares about perfecting this dog.
Who only fucking cares about dogs and, being a handsome Mexican man.
God bless Cesar Millan.
God bless Cesar Millan.
Cheers to Cesar Millan.
Cheers to Cesar Millan, and fuck that guy who's on Netflix now. Who's watching that Canine Rescue show or whatever on that? That was fucking cringe.
Just the way they shot that, they pulled out all the stops.
I gotta finish my thought. So, anyways, if you're gonna be doing training with somebody, right, don't look so much at the credentials that this person has when they're teaching you. Like I made sure that I competed because, I wanted to actually train people in the future. But honestly, competition long term is not my end goal. Maybe in jiu-jitsu, but probably not in MMA. Might do a couple more, but it's not going to be the end goal. I really want to be like the best coach on the planet. And, people people who have the same passion for teaching is the person that you want to be learning from. The ones that spend time studying stuff so they can actually, pick and choose specific things that they think that this person would do best with.
Well, I think too, like, look at it. Would you rather take a private from Gordon Ryan or Danaher? You know what I mean?
Another great point. Great point.
It's just like, I would love to meet Gordon Ryan. I would love to train with him, and yeah, I would like to do a private with him, but
yeah.
Way rather, if I had to choose between, like, you know what I mean? It's gonna be Trevor Whitman or TJ Dillashaw. Way rather chill with,
That's a great point, but I think, to your point, I think a lot of people, and maybe even most people, maybe I'm speaking out of my ass, but I think most people would choose TJ Dillashaw. I think most people would choose Gordon Ryan. But this is where we need to kind of flip the script and be like, no. You need to go to the person who doesn't live the sport to compete in it. They
study it like a science.
They need to go to the person who really understands, for one, like dealing with people, because that's a huge part of it. Like, because, man, when you're actually coaching people, you really learn personalities.
Yeah.
You learn dealing with other people.
Yeah.
So, like, you need to go to the person who understands, like, the subtle nuances of dealing with a dick versus someone who's, like, very passive. Because there's the whole spectrum, obviously.
Yeah. No, and people are complicated. People are really complicated, so there's no easy way one way to train someone.
One of the people that I coach has like a plethora of psychological issues, like a whole bunch of them. That goes deep, and a lot of the time they use. And it's not that they use me, but they're very open with like speaking about what issues they're dealing with. But this person is difficult to teach a lot of the time. Right, you have to,
And it's someone that you've seen, though, too, where you've seen them be taught by other people, and they try and fit them in that box,
Yeah. You think you can just tell them to do it, and they'll do it, show them to do it, and they'll do it, but it's really not enough. This person won't understand it unless you break it down in a way that I've learned from teaching them that they will actually understand it.
Yeah.
Right? And it really takes like so much effort and like focus. And I feel like I'm like tooting my own horn to actually say that I'm able to teach this person when other people can't. But I'm sure lots of other people could, but you have to be passionate about it and legitimately 150 fucking percent every second of the session focused on that person, or else it'll
But again,
fall
it's just
apart.
like, imagine, and it sucks to think like so much time that person went to like group training classes, and it's just like if you would have just been able to be there from square one, you know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
if they would have had someone that would just, they can't, it's just pointless, you know?
Yeah.
Like, again, you might understand like a little bit, but
Yeah. No, that person can't learn in that way. Like they have hypersensitivity disorder. So they can't, well, I believe that's the name of it, but they can't, actually, like, just to think about like dealing with that and also trying to do martial arts at the same time is mind-blowing to me. Sorry. Because basically what it is like, when you're like, let's say, give an example. You can feel every part of your body, right? You can, if you think about what your foot is doing, you feel your foot on the floor. If you think about what your arm is doing, you feel your arm on the chair, your back on the back of the chair, your head keeping it up. Imagine if you could feel every single part, without thinking about it at the same time. Right, you feel your foot, you feel your other foot, you feel your hands, you feel me holding this drink, right? It's almost like your mind is working 1,000% to try to deal with every piece of your body at the same time.
yeah.
Right? It's like you can't do anything naturally when you think that way. And try to teach that person how to do anything physical. It is extremely difficult from their standpoint. From your standpoint, it's still difficult, but you have to have your hands all over them, like really trying to explain things step by step, so they actually break it down in their own head. It's really interesting, like teaching people that way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, it is for sure.
I love coaching though. It's so
I
cool
know.
seeing them get it. Yeah, you should see her. She's gotten so much better. It's fucking awesome. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Having a training partner that fucking kick my ass a little bit, it's awesome.
Well, it sucks you're putting on weight now.
I'm getting a big boy.
It's hard.
I was 177 for fucking like 2 years, and now I'm 181. So putting on a little bit. I want to be 185. Doing a little bit more calisthenics in the park. We did that the other day. That was a lot of fun.
Pee so bad.
You gotta pee really bad right now?
So bad.
You wanna pause it and come back?
Yeah.
Okay, quick pause. Back in action. Sorry we canceled. Sorry for dropping the phones. Back in action. Back from our little bathroom break here. Sorry about that. Yazzy and me needed to go quite badly. But just kind of clear up our whole conversation on coaching. Find a coach that's passionate. That's where I'm at. If your coach texts during teaching you, if you have a teacher, any kind of person that texts or whatever, seems like their head is doing something else other than teaching you during their lesson, know that coach is not the one for you. Because a coach who isn't giving 100% of their brain for the lesson that they're trying to give to you isn't someone who's really, really passionate about it. I know for myself, I've never texted during a session while coaching somebody because I value their time and I value the fact that they're trying to learn from me. And there's plenty of people like me out there. Yazzie would be the exact same, right?
I just don't know when you could. I feel so anxious. Not anxious, but it's just like I'm so like I don't know. I feel like my mind is so 100% in on what's going on that if I were to take a moment out of that, it would fuck.
And they ask a question, and you're like, right? But some people are okay with feeling that, you know, they're comfortable.
It might be my ADD where it's just like focus.
But for me, you know, like I run people through the same footwork drills that I've done for, you know, over 2 years of my personal training career. It's short, obviously. My teaching career hasn't been that long. But regardless, I've been running them through some of the same basic footwork drills just to get them moving on their feet. And I will stare at their fucking feet every single step. And if one step is wrong, I call them on it. And I make sure that they reset and do it right. And there's been a couple instances where somebody's throwing a punch, and I've tried to teach them that punch so many times, and it's still falling short, and I'll let them do the punch wrong. Because sometimes you just need to let things slide, but every once in a while, like, I will still come back to that same shot, because I'm going to fight to actually make sure that they get it right. And I want to see them get it right, and I want to see it become natural for them. Because that's when it's a win for me, when they don't have to think about it and they do it. But anyways.
Yo, like my body cross? Or my body jab?
Body fucking out of nowhere.
That was one of those things. Well, and it's funny you say that because, like, and again, like, it's different when you're teaching clients versus when, like, you and I are working together. Because I know for, like, and I'm terrible at this, but I know, like, I'm just like, why are you nitpicking everything I'm doing? I've gotten a lot better.
I'm actually so much easier on you than I am on anybody else because you act like that.
I bet. But, like, I'm getting better with it, and I don't know.
It was sick, you know, like we were in the park the other day, such beautiful weather lately, but Yazzy I was calling pads on her and I was like, okay, body jab, and she hit the body jab, first one penetrated, went deep, it had weight behind it, it snapped, it went from her chin all the way to the pad and back to her chin right away, and then back to standing, so it was like, boom, and like right back up, and I was like, oh shit, like, and didn't have to think about it, right, I just called it and she hit it. You know, and that's when it's like, okay, you understand how to do it.
It's breaking down, and like that's the other thing too. There's a difference. There's a difference between like knowing what to do and actually taking the time to perfect every single strike. And I feel like for me, I need to do it that way. I can't, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess everyone kind of is that way in a way. You know what I mean? Like for every strike you're doing, I feel like you need to put an amount of hours into perfecting it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
For some people, you know, there's some punches that you don't necessarily need to like work that much on, but for me, like I have a handful and I'm checking off my list.
Yeah,
I can throw them and I can throw them live, but like to really make them effective and perfect is another thing.
Shovel hooks is the next step. My favorite punch.
Yeah,
Such a hard punch to get down, and that's one of the ones I'm the most nitpicky about. Because if you do one thing wrong with a shovel hook, you don't have anything on it. It's such a difficult punch to throw, and I was specifically talking about the shovel hooks on the body, right? Those digging punches that come right underneath the ribs that are just so perfectly placed on the liver and the spleen, that when you get it, even through like my 3-inch thick body pad, you fucking give that shot, you're like, oh yeah! And like a couple of guys, when they hit it, I gotta like fucking take a breath after one. You know, but like most people, it's a really, really difficult angle where we gotta spend a shit ton of time on it.
Like the alignment is what fucks me up, I know. Yeah. It's like not getting to, and I think with most hooking punches, it's really easy to kind of let your shoulder come forward and then your arm go back, and it looks like super dramatic, but it has to be all in line.
It's got to be all shoulder. Honestly, the amount of the shoulder, I think the biggest issue in striking for a lot of people is the shoulder-arm connection and maintaining the structure of the actual punch. Because often when you're throwing punches, you think about just getting the hand there as quickly as you can, but you don't really think about the pathway you're taking to actually get the punch to that location. So they end up just reaching and sort of snapping their arm out there like that. Right, so
you're saying that, it actually goes right back to what we were just saying about jits.
And what?
You think about the you don't ever think about the pathway, you just think about the end result.
Yes.
You're saying, I'm not sure it works with strike. I'm like, yeah, I think You just proved it did.
Yeah, fair
Because
enough.
everyone knows what a hook is, everyone knows what your straights are, but to
Yeah.
really think about what you're saying, like everything your body's doing.
Every piece of your body has to be working together. And I think about it like a chain from my bottom toe to the end of my fist, right? As anybody should when they're actually learning striking, but I didn't learn that for a long time, and I don't think most people do, but you really should, right?
Even what that conceptually means. You might have heard it, but it's like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Until someone's literally just like, what are you doing?
You really just think about how your hand is landing in the location. Okay, we're thinking about a jab. You just think about getting your hand straight out, right? You don't think about what your arm is doing to support the hand and what your shoulder is doing to support the arm to support the hand, and the hip is doing to support the shoulder to support the arm to support the hand, and the foot and the leg is doing to support the hip, to support the shoulder, to support the arm, to support the hand, and actually throwing that strike and generating power and maintaining the snap and the speed and etc. on it. Right, so jab is obviously a very specific example because there's so many variations of a jab as well as every other punch. But honestly, if you want to be generating power on shots, if you're not utilizing almost every part of you and really maintaining the structure of your shot where your punch doesn't collapse when it lands, then you really aren't maintaining the amount of power that you really could be generating. Because I know, because I feel the difference when someone actually punches me in the belly, and that's the best learning tool that I've ever had, is someone punching me full force in the belly or in the hands. Because sometimes you're like, holy fuck, you know, that one was different, that kind of like hurt my elbow, you know.
Yeah. No,
So,
for sure, when you're on the other end,
it
the
makes a
bag
difference.
can tell you one thing,
Yeah.
but your joints will tell you another
You
thing.
have to take
Another
it on
person's
yourself. It
joints.
sucks, you know, but like, it's really been the best learning tool I've ever had. And it's funny, every fucking day I pick up something new and I'm like, oh my god, I gotta be teaching everybody this. And then, you know, I've constantly changed the way that we've been learning stuff and the way that we've applied techniques. And
Now you're constantly reanalyzing just curriculum. And
yeah, it's non-stop evolving, and I see everybody getting better. I see everybody getting tighter, faster, hitting harder, and I'm like, oh yeah. I feel like I'm becoming
You're
like
kind of turning me on.
I want to.
Whoa. It's getting hot.
I want to become like a striking Danaher, you know. I just want to I just feel so natural with those movements a lot of the time. Not with actually applying them. I've gotten better at striking just from teaching it, but regardless, from seeing other people improve and becoming more natural and coming up with drills, it's gotten.
Yeah, the drills have been fucking fun.
It's gotten really.
I've
really
never
cool.
been able, like, I don't know, and like, no hate on Whitman, but like, I've never been able to pick up a ton on the Bang series.
Yeah, that's Dwayne.
Dwayne. Oh, I'm an
Yeah,
idiot.
that's okay.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Dwayne.
they're separate. Same place though.
Okay. But yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. But like, I don't know.
The Bang Muay Thai system's interesting, but I don't exactly agree with their philosophies. I don't know what I only know like the base level of it, but I just know like the very long-winded combos of like, you know, I like hitting and then defending and then hitting and then defending and like all within one like very structured combo. I don't think really attributes itself well to martial arts, but like TJ Dillashaw made it work, and that guy's got like if anything, it gives you crazy footwork if you actually apply it correctly. And you have to be 100% committed to the actual movements. But I think if you understand the system, then it's easy to deal with in a certain way. I don't know. That's in my first thought. That's where I go to.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm a novice with this shit.
Again,
I'm just
like, I
learning how to
probably
teach
would
myself.
have done better with it if I was doing it one-on-one with someone. I don't know. Not trying to learn it in a class setting. Because my brain is fucked. I need attention.
What a fun conversation to have on our birthday.
Yeah, no, it's really
my
fun.
birthday. Our birthday.
My birthday.
This is our birthday.
It's our birthday day.
Please, thank you for being a birthday wish.
Everything's my birthday wish. Ooh, what are we doing for dinner? Did you
Dinner
decide?
tonight.
We're doing Indian?
We
We're
got
doing
Indian.
Thai?
We
I
got-
don't know. Thai we get, like,
Are you
not on
doing-
special occasions.
I can do India.
Yeah, definitely not Thai. We have Thai too often.
I can do maybe burger.
Yeah, we do eat Thai food a lot. Thai is fucking awesome.
Fuck.
Fuck, if I could go back to Silk for just one day, I would order everything on the menu.
Is that one?
That is one.
Try to get inside. I just feel bad for him, but he's being a bad boy. So
He's gonna learn.
You gotta learn a little bit. Yeah. But, fuck, I think we covered everything we wanted to talk about, more or less. Birthday, new shit.
Yeah, I mean, just recovering what we were. Yeah, I think the game plan. We didn't really come in with a game plan.
A little bit, just kind of want to
some
talk
talk points,
about, whatever shit was going on. We
I
had
like where we went.
in our following episodes, we're gonna go into the fact that I have, 50 antique cameras that we recently reacquired from my mom's place that we're putting on display upstairs. We were gonna kind of go into actually showing you guys these things, but instead we ended up
Talking about martial
kind of
arts.
talking about MMA and whatnot. But in the future, for sure, gonna kind of highlight the fact that we got all these guys. Really cool little collection that I'm super proud of. I'm not super proud of it. I don't really give a fuck about it. But I looked at it.
At one point, you were.
I was extremely proud of it. I spent a lot of time, and there wasn't a garage sale that I missed when I had the chance.
They are like just fun to look at, honestly.
That's
like,
why I like them. I thought cameras were really unique for in terms of technology, because they were constantly being released and they're like mass produced, but they're like it was an extremely competitive market. So you see like so many different versions and looks to them and styles and
I love like
and
these.
different like uses. So it's really, really cool. Like this one actually is one of my favorites, and we'll get into more details in the future, but like let's see that.
I love looking at the viewfinders too, seeing all the different shit in the viewfinder, like how
Cool little cameras. That one's actually quite expensive.
that one.
No, that one.
This one.
That one's probably worth more than this one.
Really.
Oddly enough, yeah.
I can't wait to.
Camera people
take
are
some
weird
pictures.
people. Yeah, we're gonna show you guys that in the near future. But anyways, for today, we'll fucking leave that be because I don't feel like talking about it, and the fact that I got a fucking badass camera collection is shit. But
We're gonna keep that. We're gonna keep that for you.
like, subscribe. Please come back for the next one. I really like doing like the sit down conversation ones. The other ones are fun too, where we do like the videos and shit.
Yeah, I wish I wasn't so hungover for the last one, or else I would have been a lot more animated.
We got like shadow banned on the last one. I don't know if you watched that one.
4 people saw it, so
4 views. I was like, what the fuck? Oh.
sharing other people's videos, I guess. The beef and broccoli, we got claimed.
Broccoli.
Whoa.
See you next time. Love you guys. Thanks for being around. North South Presents podcast. Yazzy and Connor, extraordinaire.